Good morning, everybody. It is 51 degrees. We've got high clouds coming in across the area as moisture sets up and returns for a pretty active Monday, and we'll be talking lots about that here in just a little bit. But for now, it's tranquil. It's nice. I'm pulling a little double duty this morning. The missus still not feeling great, so I'm trying to heat up stuff for our Palm Sunday potluck at church. Then I got to change out of these rags. As you know, I always dress so nicely for these lives and get something decent on, right? Well, at least, something without holes in it. Anyway, 51 degrees in Alexandria right now. We have a few clouds, or a lot of clouds, few cars. That's what I meant to say. And let's just get right to it here. 50 to 54 across the area right now. 51 in Alexandria. 54 the warm spot down in Opelousas. And radar is going to show that we have a system coming out of the desert southwest. This thing is producing some mountain snow and a few storms out that way. Some heavier rainfall and snow up to the north across Iowa. You can barely see that. That one's going to skate on through, not impact us. So let's get to the stuff that is going to impact our area here in just a second. First off, the day planner. Well, I guess that does have an effect on our life. 67 at 1 p.m., 71 at 4. And your future temperatures throughout the day, mid-60s up into the 70s. We quickly jump up there, and then we don't fall off too quickly tonight because, again, moisture coming in, clouds, all that stuff keeps temperatures from falling very quickly. Now we jump into some severe weather talk for Monday. Now, I'm going to put back-to-back two different runs of the HRRR model. I posted that static image, that still image last night, but check this out. So this shows a pretty good indicator of what we have, what potential we have with the severe weather on the high end, and then kind of not a best case scenario, but a better case scenario. So here is the run from around midnight. We're going to take you here, show you that we have nothing, nothing, nothing. Boom, there's some thunderstorms out in Texas, and these are kind of... These are not severe at this point, but they're intensifying. So 11 a.m., then look what happens here. So your main front is still out in East Texas. These storms are pretty individual out here. I do not like the look of this. So if this were the method that we saw these storms and they were individual, discrete storms, we could see a higher tornado threat. Right now, I'm kind of leaning toward a little bit more of a conservative solution on this, and I'll show you why in just a second. But these storms are pretty nasty. Everything kind of coalesces into a line by the evening, and that's when things really organize across Mississippi into Alabama. They get out of here, and here is another run. Same model, but this one is going to show a slightly more friendly solution. So, okay, we go through all the boring stuff, nothing happening. Now, you see the difference here. We have a big cluster of showers out here, and I know my mouse isn't showing. I'm using it for myself. Big cluster of like lighter rain and junk out here ahead of this, as opposed to those bigger supercells that were shown on that earlier run. So if I put things in motion, you see that kind of Rob's instability makes these look a little more or a little less impressive from Monroe down through Alexandria and Lake Charles. Now, off to the east, things still do coalesce into that line. We get that line of broken supercells there, and we see some issues. So I still think either way, well, first off, we're going to see a ton of wind out of this. No matter what happens tomorrow, it is going to be windy. And it's not going to be hard for whatever storms come through to pull down some strong to possibly severe wind gusts to the surface. That would be above 58 miles per hour. And here is what it looks like. This is starting at 5:55 on Sunday. Exactly. This is exactly what it'll be doing. Not really. But we do have mid to upper 20s wind gusts. This is today. It's going to be breezy. We'll call it breezy. Overnight tonight, the wind starts to kick up a little bit. We see by tomorrow morning wind gusts in the 30 to 35 mile per hour range. Well, look what happens out ahead of this. And I'm going to show you a few interesting things here. But we have wind gusts by 11:30 up around 40, maybe a little higher. And you can also very clearly see here in northwestern Sabine Parish where that front is. You can see the convergence along that front, and that's what's going to force thunderstorms to develop. The question is, out here in this southeasterly flow, this south-southeasterly flow out ahead of it, do we get those supercells to develop? And again, that depends on a lot of things. I've showed you a couple of different solutions with that, and I lean in Louisiana a lot of times toward the junkier solutions because, and what I mean by that is more thunderstorms kind of interacting with each other, and we don't see those single discrete cells because we're going to have a lot of moisture in place, low cloud bases, a lot of forcing with this. So the hope is that we get a big mass of rain and thunderstorms as opposed to those individual cells, which would be more severe. Then look at this thing. I mean, we're going to see wind gusts. Of course, this does factor in some thunderstorms, but 45 to 50 miles per hour. And look at how widespread that is. That's not storming everywhere. So it looks like it's going to be very windy tomorrow. I think we'll see at least some power outages regardless, just because of those straight line winds. And it's not going to take much to pull down a 60 mile per hour or more gust. And let's see. Yeah, that takes us into Tuesday, and then we're done. Okay, perfect. We ended that gracefully, didn't we? Okay, so the severe outlook, this is for tomorrow. And things have really moved into where I think this is now going to be like from noon out west until like maybe 6 or 7 out to the east. So the nighttime threat is out. Now we are looking squarely at an afternoon and maybe early evening threat. So a slight risk for severe weather. This is a level 2 out of 5. This is not an off the charts risk here. I think we could bump this to level 3. There's not a ton of instability, but there is so much wind shear with this system. So a 5% risk of tornadoes within 25 miles of a point, pretty much across our entire area and most of the state. So the threat for a couple of tornadoes in Louisiana is going to be there tomorrow. And of course, I will be here. Tom's going to be at his place. We're going to be covering this thing. It's going to be what we do tomorrow, so do not worry about that. Download the Cenlaw Weather app if you haven't yet. It's a good one, and you can get that forecast data right there in the palm of your hand, all the warnings, things like that. And then rain showers, we're going to end up seeing probably a half an inch to an inch and a half out of this. So the severe threat is going to be the main problem here, and the 7-day forecast shows that it is going to be windy and stormy on Monday. But if you get through Monday and things are looking good, my goodness, what a forecast we have for you. So temperatures come back down into the 60s through the middle of the week. Then look at that as we head toward Easter. It looks like we really warm up over that weekend. 80 degrees, partly cloudy skies on Saturday. And then I think for Easter Sunday, I think we're going to keep it dry. At least that's the way it looks now. And we are going to see those temperatures jumping up perhaps a few more degrees into the middle 80s. Ooh, it's going to be warm. And your start to April here showing that we have above normal precip in the forecast. That's one system that looks like it's coming through a couple days after Easter. We'll keep an eye on that, of course. And temperatures around to slightly above normal. As I said, it's going to be pretty warm on Easter. And your typical normal temperatures this time of year are in the mid to upper 70s. And that's my cat. If you hear the scratching, she can't figure out how to open doors. Sweet cat, not that bright. All right, I'm going to get out of here. I will be live tomorrow morning. We'll be going through the short-range models, and we'll be talking about radar, all that stuff, and we'll be updating you on the severe threat. And I'll be doing a text update a little later on today. For now, I leave you with the scratching of the door sound going away and the Bog song taking us out. I will see you back here a little later.